The Tracee Ellis Ross mindset is not about fame, perfection, or becoming a version of yourself the world can easily consume. It's about patience. It's about choosing yourself over and over again. Tracee Ellis Ross was born on October 29, 1972, in Los Angeles, California, into a world already familiar with visibility. She is the daughter of legendary singer Diana Ross and music executive Robert Ellis Silverstein, a lineage that placed her close to fame while simultaneously challenging her to define herself beyond it. From an early age, Tracee was exposed to art, performance, style, and creative excellence, yet her journey would be shaped less by her parents' path and more by intention. She is an actress, entrepreneur, producer, and advocate. She is a living example of what it looks like to build a life with intention, to evolve publicly without losing yourself privately, and to prioritize alignment over urgency. Tracee teaches us that life is not a race to arrive but a journey to become. She didn't rush her evolution, didn't force relevance, didn't beg for validation. She trusted that what was meant for her would find her when she was ready to hold it. In a culture obsessed with early success, her life reminds us that depth takes time and alignment cannot be hurried. At the core of her mindset is a radical relationship with self. Tracee speaks about loving her own company, about building a life that feels full even in solitude. She doesn't wait for love to begin living, and she doesn't outsource her joy to anyone else. Her life shows us that when you are emotionally self-sufficient, relationships become a choice, not a rescue. She embodies the truth that wholeness is the foundation, not the reward. She also teaches us to redefine success. For Tracee, success is not just visibility or applause, but peace, creative freedom, and joy. That's why she is intentional about the roles she accepts and the spaces she enters. She understands that saying yes to everything can cost you yourself, and no achievement is worth self-abandonment. Her mindset reminds us that success without joy is still failure, and alignment will always matter more than approval. Tracee honors the body as a source of wisdom. She listens to herself. She rests without guilt. She sets boundaries without apology. She treats care as essential, not optional. In a world that glorifies exhaustion, her life teaches us that tending to your body, your voice, and your needs is an act of self-respect. She shows us that softness and strength are not opposites. They can coexist beautifully. Joy is central to who she is. Tracee doesn't just endure life, she celebrates it. Her laughter, her dancing, her bold fashion choices, her playfulness, these are not accidents. They are intentional expressions of freedom. She reminds us that joy does not have to wait for everything to be perfect. It can exist right now. She also allows herself to be fully seen. Tracee does not shrink to fit expectations or soften her edges to be more palatable. She is expressive, emotional, sensual, thoughtful, and unapologetically present. She reminds us that we don't need to edit ourselves to survive. The more fully we show up, the more magnetic we become. Growing up in the shadow of a global icon could have erased her identity, but instead, Tracee learned the power of self-definition. She did not compete with her mother's legacy or anyone else's timeline. She focused on becoming herself. Her life teaches us that comparison is a distraction, and your only real responsibility is to honor your own path. Perhaps one of the most powerful elements of the Tracee Ellis Ross is how she views aging. She refuses the narrative that women become less with time. For her, aging is expansion, more confidence, more clarity, more authority. She moves through life knowing that every year adds value, not diminishes it. She teaches us that growing older is not a loss of relevance, but a deepening of power. She also believes in collective elevation. Tracee creates space for other women to rise. She celebrates their wins, mentors intentionally, and builds platforms that reflect abundance instead of competition. Her mindset reminds us that another woman's success is not a threat, it's proof of possibility. And what makes the Tracee Ellis Ross mindset so magnetic is that it is not performative. It is lived. You can feel it in how she speaks, how she pauses, and how she moves through the world as someone who has made peace with herself, and that peace becomes her power. There is a quiet courage in how she navigates uncertainty. Tracee does not pretend to have everything figured out. She acknowledges that life is complex, that desire can coexist with contentment, that longing does not negate gratitude. She allows herself to want more without making her present insufficient. This balance is rare. It requires emotional maturity to hold ambition without restlessness, and gratitude without complacency. Her mindset teaches us that wanting more does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you are alive. She speaks often about listening to herself, to others, to the moment. Listening, for Tracee, is an act of respect. It is how she learns, how she stays grounded, how she remains open. She does not rush to fill silence. She understands that silence can be instructive. In a culture that prioritizes constant output, her willingness to pause is radical. It creates space for insight, empathy, and intentional response. Tracee trusts herself to make decisions, to recover from mistakes, to navigate disappointment. This trust allows her to take risks without being reckless, to explore without fear of failure. She understands that missteps are not indictments of character, but part of growth. Because she trusts herself, she is not paralyzed by the need to get everything right. Ultimately, the Tracee Ellis Ross mindset is an invitation. An invitation to slow down, to listen inwardly, to trust your timing, to redefine success, to choose joy without apology, to age with pride, to rest without guilt, to be visible without shrinking, to love yourself without condition. It reminds us that a meaningful life is not built by following a formula, but by honoring your truth consistently. And perhaps that is the most powerful lesson of all, that becoming yourself is the work of a lifetime, and it is worth doing well.